banker hereby accept the concept of electronic banking, convenient cash transactions, electronic deposit and withdrawal, automatic teller machines, point of sale and financial convenience centers, electronic funds transfer, and other such services compatible with the electronic age of banking. I do. Do you, electronic banking card, accept the aforesaid duties in the hallowed house of banking from this day forward, even into the 21st century?
I certainly do. Consumers, retailers, and bankers need it.
Transfer has arrived. Electronic Funds Transfer, EFT. Just exactly what is it? What are we really talking about? The formal definition is, EFT encompasses a broad range of possible payment systems and services directed towards substituting an electronic transfer of value or a paper transfer of value, either wholly or in part. A simpler definition is that EFT handles transactions electronically that are now handled by paper. It is not the introduction of a new system. It's just a better way of doing business. A check is a paper means of transferring money from your account to another person's account. If instead of a check, you use a bank services card to transfer the money electronically, that is electronic funds transfer. So you can forget about all the gobbledygook that has sprung up around EFT. It is just another way of handling the same old system, transferring value, such as money from one person to another. Just a better way of doing business. What is new is the means by which banks handle these transfers of value data. Instead of relying on the postal system and armored trucks, there are what might be called electronic mailboxes, where transactions are initiated. Instead of a post office, there are computerized and automated processing and switching centers. Instead of sorting rooms, optical readers, and all the other paraphernalia for handling paper, banks use computers and other electronic capabilities for processing the transactions internally and keeping records. It is this communication system which we will explain. It is a system that relieves people of the necessity to make many of the trips they now make to conduct their banking business. A system that relieves people and companies of writing all the checks they now write in order to conduct business. It is estimated that over 40 billion checks will be written by the year 1980 if the current rate of increase continues. 80 billion checks by 1990. 160 billion checks by the year 2000. Just cutting those numbers in half saves billions of dollars for the general economy. It can also save this poor guy a lot of time. And time is something nobody seems to have enough of these days. Just getting to the bank to cash the paycheck can be a problem. Working hours for the majority of people are the same as banking hours. Commuting time steals from the available hours, leaves people in a bad mood to conduct business in the evening, even when banks extend their hours. This forces many people to bank near work, to squeeze banking activities into the noon hour or whenever they can steal time. But home is often far from work. It leaves the housewife far from the family's bank facilities. It means she has check cashing problems while grocery shopping, on weekends or evenings. So people are turning to merchants and expecting them to provide bank services. Should people have a second bank account near home? Shopping habits further complicate the picture. In our mobile society, people often shop far from both home and work. Large shopping centers attract people from long distances. Unfortunately, bank credit cards are not accepted by many large retail stores and supermarkets. This may require the housewife to keep and carry large amounts of cash or open a charge account at each store. It may also require the frequent cashing of checks, always inconvenient, sometimes impossible, and often embarrassing. Since peak shopping hours do not always conform to banking hours, merchants have been forced to extend certain bank services. Possibly, a family should have a third bank account near a favorite shopping center. These problems are compounded for the retailer, the supermarket, the discount house, large volume merchandisers of all kinds, as well as the small specialty shops that cluster around the supermarket and the department store. The retailer is competing for the customer. He is not only competing with price, he must also give service. In particular, he wants to make it easy for the customer to buy from him. Bank credit cards are a help, but they are not the complete answer. They take more time than a cash sale does, particularly when a credit approval is needed. And some stores do not accept bank credit cards at all. Giving personal credit is a problem for these stores who still handle all or part of their customers' charges, because many customers are not paying as promptly as they once did. In the long run, the good customers help shoulder the cost for carrying slow-paying customers. Meanwhile, new customers are asking for credit. Competitive pressures require retailers to consider their applications. Many times, the alternative to giving credit is cashing checks, but this leads to its own problems. In addition to people who deliberately write bad checks, many otherwise good customers accidentally write overdrafts. Although the checks are usually made good later, the cost of handling and rehandling them adds to the cost of doing business, a cost all of us must ultimately pay for. There is not only a high percentage of bad checks, but it is clear that validating checks in order to cash them or use them for payment takes valuable time for both the retailer and his customers. It can also be irritating to the customer, sometimes costing more than the loss of a sale, the loss of a customer. This tempts the retailer to honor checks he should not. Retailers need a faster, better way, a more economical way in today's market to handle this transfer of funds from customers. Everyone will benefit. Another need is assistance in the area of cash flow. Cash inventories at the store level are very high. It is estimated that there are $12 billion dormant in cash registers. $12 billion that could be working elsewhere. And cash not working is a sin. The problem of security with large amounts of cash on hand is another reason why a reduction in the amount of cash in retail stores is a problem. Everyone, consumers, retailers, and bankers, has problems caused by the paperwork explosion resulting from check processing. The numbers of checks continue to increase, and the cost of handling is rapidly rising out of sight. At an estimated cost of 14 to 18 cents a check, it will cost all of us a total of over $6 billion a year to process checks by the year 1980. Who knows what that cost will be by the year 2000? Electronic funds transfer can curb this $6 billion expense and eventually reduce costs for all of us. The needs of people for bank services closer to work, closer to home, and closer to the point of purchase can be met by electronic funds transfer. The needs of retailers to give better service, to handle checks and credit without loss, to reduce the amount of cash on hand can all be met by electronic funds transfer. The banks have been well aware of these problems and the possible solution for some time. The big question was, are the people who use the services ready for and willing to accept EFT? Were the retailers ready for EFT? In order to find out, an internationally recognized research organization, Booz, Allen, and Hamilton, was given the job by a group of Midwestern banks. An in-depth market survey into the attitudes toward and acceptance of EFT was carefully researched. The results were excellent. People like the idea of having a bank services card. They are becoming accustomed to plastic money. People like the idea of being able to obtain their money 24 hours a day as they would with a bank services card. They like the elimination of cumbersome identification, such as driver's license, phone number, and other ID when cashing checks. They like the idea of fewer trips to the bank and less standing in line, both at the bank and at the store. They like being able to get by with less cash in purse or pocket. Of those who said they would want a bank services card, here are the services they said they would be most likely to use. Check guarantee heads the list. Withdrawals and deposits were next in popularity. Balance inquiry was third on the list. Nearly half said they would use the card while making retail purchases. Surprisingly, many of those surveyed said they'd rather deal with a banking machine than a teller. Did they think the machine was smarter? Some people said there was a certain amount of embarrassment in tellers looking up their balances, especially if the teller was an acquaintance. Of those likely to want a card, 40% said they saw an advantage over charge cards, because charge cards tend to make spending easier. The survey showed that those most likely to use the bank services card were frequent check writers, those who withdraw cash 5 or more times a month, and charge card users, those who don't like to carry cash and make frequent use of charge cards. Not surprisingly, a larger percentage of women saw a benefit in the bank services card. Men said they would be likely to use the deposit and balance inquiry features. From this, it can be concluded that most people saw the benefits of a bank services card and wanted one. What about the merchant? What was his attitude toward a bank services card? Toward a point-of-sale terminal right in the store, as you might expect, the majority of the merchants also felt they had a need for these services. Those merchants most interested in EFT and a point-of-sale bank services machine were stores where there is a large traffic flow and where customer convenience is important to their continued success. The major benefits seen by the merchants were the reduction of bad check losses, improvement in customer service through improved checkout speed, and an increase in customer traffic. When the market research showed that there was a real need and desire for the bank services EFT could provide away from the bank site, it was the final link in the chain. All systems were go. Electronic banking system for all the banks in the service area. The new EFT service is offered in this 5-state area. It is, in fact, nothing more than an electronic communications network that enables banks to provide their customers with bank services in remote locations, such as the point of sale, no matter where the customer may be. The future is truly here now. EFT is no longer a theory. It is a working reality, not only in our area, but all across the country, to one extent or another. The Citibank's bank services card is now in use at more than 4,300 locations in New York City. In Chicago, this system's automatic teller machines are so popular that they must be restocked with money several times each weekend. From Columbus, Ohio, from the City National Bank, come glowing reports that merchants and customers both reacted positively to the point-of-sale terminal. Every day, all across the country, more and more consumers are moving toward EFT, in bank lobbies, airports, anywhere people are concentrated. Today, there are more than 100,000 point-of-sale machines in use. The future is here, and it's here right now. In the case of our EFT system, the nerve ends of our network are off where the customer does his or her purchasing. One key benefit of this system enables the merchant and his customer to complete a transaction in seconds without lifting a telephone for approval. This gives banks of all all types and sizes equal opportunities to extend and amplify their services as the needs of retailers and consumers call for them. Banking machines in major retail stores enable consumers to obtain banking services quickly and conveniently. Automatic teller machines located in areas of heavy traffic enable consumers to obtain many services. Services which were formerly available only on the bank's premises. It is the banks, not this communications network, which offer and perform these services. The EFT network is just the means of communication consumers use to conduct their banking business. Much the way we use telephones to communicate with stockbrokers to initiate, buy, or sell orders. It is estimated that in time, over 100 different services could be offered via this electronic communications network. To begin with, a minimum of 4 services are available at the point of sale in retail stores. These services are check guarantee. The bank verifies that an adequate balance is in the customer's account to cover a check, and guarantees that the check will not bounce, enabling retailers to cash checks with complete confidence. Balance inquiry. The customer is able to find out the current balance in his savings and or checking accounts. Charge card authorization for either MasterCard, Bank Americard, or any other participating card plan. Direct withdrawal. A customer is able to withdraw from either his checking or savings accounts for merchandise or cash. In addition to the point-of-sale banking machines in high-volume stores, there are financial convenience centers for use by customers. These are freestanding units located in areas for maximum use and convenience. The same services offered at the point of sale are available here. Plus, other services such as cash withdrawals through a bank services card or cash advances through a bank credit card. Customers are also able to transfer funds between their savings and checking accounts and make deposits. In each bank's lobby, these same services are offered to the customers of all other banks in the network, as well as for its own customers. These services are being introduced in an orderly and systematic manner throughout this area in multiple phases over several years. Your local bank can give you the timetable for your area. When completed, this EFT system will be a network of over 6,500 point-of-sale terminals and over 150 financial convenience centers to serve the customers of this area's banks. At full operation, it will be one of the larger EFT networks in the country. One of the most carefully thought out and designed networks, ready to link up with any national or international network. What about the card itself? What does it look like? Is it safe? Is it plastic like my charge card? It is very much like the plastic charge cards people have become familiar with and accept in their daily lives. Other EFT efforts have successfully safeguarded the plastic card against unauthorized use by a private code number known only to the cardholder and his bank. Taking everything into consideration for the convenience and safety of the customer, we have designed a card that is both handsome and functional. A card that proudly carries the name BankMate. Bank services.
To me, the name says something about working in conjunction with bank services. It explains itself in that it's an aid to the banking customer.
It just sounds good. It sounds like it fits. I mean, it tells what the service does.
It has an automatic ring to it. The name stands for a bank or anything associated with a bank.
It certainly explains what it will be. A helper, a bank helper.
Easy to read. It's attractive. Design and colors are good.
I like the colors. The name stands out. I like the greens. They're different. They catch your eye and emphasize the name.
I think it's good. It's different, and the green brings to mind money.
At this point, a logical question is, how much does this cost? The answer lies with each bank. Each bank will set its own schedule of charges for these services to retailers and consumers, just as they do for the services they currently offer. What does it cost the merchant? No more than today's operations. Certainly not as much as bad checks are costing him. Probably less than he's paying for security. Also, there's another valuable service it can offer his customers. But the real benefit of EFT is improvement over the use of checks, better service, and greater convenience for consumers and for retailers. Where will it lead? Once established, how far can EFT be developed? With this base, there is almost no limit to electronic funds transfer compared to the old paper system. This is the greatest revolution in handling money since the introduction of checks. You mean my wife won't have to balance my checkbook anymore? It could come to that. Consider that man started by bartering goods. Fish for wheat, cloth for meat. Then he devised metal money. Then came paper money. Checks were an extension of paper money. Next was the bank charge card, plastic money. Today, we are entering the era of electronic money, the fastest and easiest of all to handle. And who knows what's ahead? As people enjoy the convenience of EFT, there will be no limit to its development.